For months, NanoBanana has been the undisputed king of image generation, but OpenAI just dropped GPT Image 2.0 and it is ridiculously good. Has NanoBanana finally lost the throne? We're going to be running 8 head-to-head tests across many different styles and complexities. Let's dive into it and see who has the best image generation model right now. The first image that we're going to be testing against both models is going to be an infographic. This is a very common use case, especially in business. So I have a prompt cooked up. We're going to be providing the same prompts to both GPT and Gemini. So let's see what this thing will create. We'll go and we'll select create the image. We'll do that without choosing any sort of style, although you could, but there is no infographic style to choose from here. So let's see what we get here. All right, here is the infographic. There is a lot of information on this. See if I can zoom in. So if we zoom in on this image, this is a lot of information that I was able to put on here. So props to the model for being able to do that. I don't see any errors. Let's see, that's a full 100%. That's pretty impressive. This is 93% total. I don't know if it's supposed to be hundreds. I'm not seeing any errors off the first inspection, but I mean, it doesn't look great. I could have maybe prompted it to look a little bit better, but the fact that I don't see any errors on this is very, very impressive. Let's see. Is this 10 people? Because if it's 10 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 people, that's like 80 something percent. All right. You should probably have 10 people there. So I guess that's an error right there, but no error in the actual language that I'm seeing. Comment below if you are seeing any errors here. Let's go give the same prompt to Gemini now. So we're going to go select create an image. I'm not going to select any style. I'm going to paste in the same exact prompt. Okay, so this was a lot quicker. It also has a lot less information. I'm not seeing any errors, and the fact that both of them ended up looking kind of like this is a result of the prompting that I gave it, if I had to guess. But yeah, no errors. That's kind of what we hope to see when we are creating these infographics. That's the most important thing. So the winner, I'm going to say that GPT Image 2.0 wins this battle. We are going to be looking at the capability of these models in their image generation of hyper real human anatomy. Let's see what GPT comes up with for this prompt. As you can see, the musician's hands are in sharp focus with accurate finger placement on the strings, reflections visible in the wet pavement and glass panels, subtle motion blur on the bow, realistic skin texture, pores, and veins, cinematic lighting. So we should get a pretty realistic image based on that language right there of this hand and the fingers. This looks pretty good. Very, very good. Even the details of this map right here, very, very impressive. The focus is of this area right here, but we can still see how clear this rain looks right here. Very impressive. Let's go see what this looks like in the Nano Banana. Same exact prompt. Here's Nano Banana. Very impressive here. I feel like it's a little bit more blurry here. The background looks really good. It's a little bit less focused on the character of the image compared to the GPT. As you can see, there's that lighting and the reflection happening. I think I'm going to have to go with GPT on this image again. I just think that the face details and the hand details are very, very good. Nano Banana's image isn't bad. I just think that GPT's is a little bit better. The third test is going to be a multi-character interaction. We have 7 people playing Twister. This is going to be interesting what it comes up with for this. It's funny how we got these 7 diverse people playing a chaotic game of Twister. I didn't come up with that. That was AI generated, by the way. I just think that's pretty funny. But let's see if these people are diverse. All right. This is pretty good right here. I'm not seeing any errors with, the anatomy of these people and like having multiple limbs. That's kind of what you look for when it comes to a scene like this with a bunch of people playing a game where everyone is crossed in front of each other. It doesn't look like they're playing very well. This guy's hand is not on a spot. I don't know the rules of the game very well. It's been a while since I've been able to play. We did get a lot of diversity here as requested by the prompts, but it's good to see that there is no messed up people in this. Let's go see what Gemini came up with. Nano Banana. Okay, so it doesn't really look like they're playing. It looks like they're just hanging out and sitting around and looking at each other. That's an interesting hand placement right there. Watch out, buddy. It's not bad. This is a pretty complex image to generate. I'm glad that we were able to use this sort of prompt. It was a good idea for the AI to put these 2 models at the test for an image as complex as this one. Again, we have GPT Image 2.0 coming out on top. It is 3-0 right now in favor of GPT Image 2.0. The next image is going to be Stylized animation. Okay, we have a semi-realistic anime style female warrior. I'm going to give it to both and we will see the results. What I've realized is that Gemini is a little bit quicker with generating these images. I don't know if it's because it's defaulted to fast or what. I'm not sure. But GPT Image does take a good amount of time. All right, so as you can see, I put the prompt in second to Gemini and it's already done. Solid, nothing special there. Just as what you would expect from Gemini on this. Wow, okay, this is pretty cool. I think this is more the hybrid that the prompt was requesting with if you look at the prompt here, semi-realistic anime style female warrior. This isn't semi-realistic at all. It's definitely cartoon animation style. You come over here and it really is a mix between cartoon and a realistic photograph. So far, GPT Image is sweeping the way. Definitely wins this test right here for the merging of the animation and the realistic photography style. 4-0 GPT. The next image is going to be non-human biology. So we're looking at a biologically plausible dragon. This is going to be interesting. We have documentary style. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I like that we're switching up between these different styles. I'm going to switch this over to Pro. Not sure if that's really going to make a difference, but let's try to give Gemini and Nano Banana a little bit of an edge here. Let's see what it comes up with. I'm not even sure if altering this has an effect on the image and how quickly it's generated, but we'll see how this unfolds here. All right. That was pretty quick for GPT, quicker than usual, and very impressive here. Once again, I don't know what's going on with the background here. It's kind of like dotted, if you can see. Seems like there's a little bit of odd texture there. And it's kind of coming over this as well. Not a fan of that, but the details are. This is like what you would see in a movie, definitely. And what do we got here? So yeah, this is not as good. I don't really like how it's showing this little feature right here of the stuff falling off the cliff. It doesn't really look as realistic. There's less style. It looks like a coloring more than an actual documentary style film type image here. I kind of like this motion back here. This is really indicative of the tail moving. I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of like a freeze frame. I guess that's what they're trying to get at right here as well. But I think the details are a little bit better in the GPT. I don't really like what's going on here with these dots going over the entire image. But the dragon itself is definitely more detailed and better on the GPT side. 5-0 GPT. Are we going to get a clean sweep? Next test. Text and UI rendering. We have a modern smartphone lying on a desk displaying a finance app dashboard saying these things. Give it to the Gemini. I don't really think altering this did anything with the speed, as it was still pretty fast generating these images. If you're looking for speed, Gemini is the way to go so far, but you would rather wait the 5 to 10 extra seconds to get a better quality image any day of the week, but thought I'd make note of that. All right, pretty good. I'm not seeing any errors in the language on the phone. Kind of weird how the cash flow has been alternating from month to month. Not very realistic, but I guess that doesn't really matter. Revenue overview, profit up, expenses up, revenue up. So I guess it's pretty cool. It seems like it's a little bit crooked here. I don't know if you guys can see that as well, but it seems like it should be tilted a little bit to the right here. Other than that, it looks pretty perfect. Even down here, that looks like a real life app. And then the details around look extremely realistic here. As you can see, we got an iPhone, looks like an iPhone. Might have an extra little button right there. Not really sure what the new iPhones are looking like. I still have an iPhone 12. Let's go over to the Gemini. So this is pretty good as well. At second glance, it's not great. There's something going on here with these two sets of numbers. It looks a little bit glitchy, and you can't really see everything perfectly. Monthly, that looks like an R right there, performance instead of performance. It's hard to really tell, but the words aren't very clear here. Dashboard, accounts, budgets. This is in the way here. It looks like we got another iPhone. This iPhone, though, I don't think the new iPhones have different number of holes at the bottom for the speakers. I don't think that's accurate. We got to go with GPT again. Guys, this might be a clean sweep. The 7th test, we have complex scenery plus perspective here, a futuristic multi-level marketplace inside of a massive glass dome, dozens of tiny human figures interacting. We have a wide lens, highly detailed environment. This is a pretty cool concept. If I had to guess, GPT is probably going to be the winner of this, but let's continue to test out these models against these different styles. Wow. There's a little bit of something going on here. It looks like there's some sort of invisible aura going on in the middle here. Looks a little bit weird. There's a bunch of these little dots all over the place. It just looks like it's part of the style. But if you come over here, you can see these dots scattered all over the place. Doesn't look great. It definitely looks interesting. And over here, to be honest, this really isn't much better. Very basic. Details just aren't there. There aren't really any flaws. Like, I guess, I don't know if they're technically flaws, but it's just weird style going on over here. I still have to say that GPT wins this. Even though it looks a little weird, I think it's just a better image, like better to look at and cooler, more interesting. This is just basic and not very detailed. 7-0. For the last image that we're going to be generating, we are going to create a thumbnail for this YouTube video that is essentially comparing the two models to each other. So here's the prompt that we have: YouTube thumbnail. We have Gemini on the left, GPT on the right, two intense AI robot faces staring at each other. Let's see what that comes out with. It could be the thumbnail of the video. We will see how good these are. But if I had to guess, we're going to be selecting the GPT image generation for this thumbnail. It is 7-0. I don't have any faith in Gemini winning this battle. I would not make my thumbnail this. It's a little bit silly, I guess. Not silly, but non-serious. I guess my prompt could have been better. I don't know. Let's see what GPT comes out with here. So they're actually facing each other. That's what was requested. I don't really like this either. I do think this is pretty cool, though. You have the different symbols in each. We have no symbols here, so it didn't even care to pull out those logos. Yep, this wins. This is not going to be the thumbnail of the video, though. I still think it's a little bit corny, but the GPT image wins this battle. Once again, this is a clean sweep. 8-0. Let me know what you thought. Did you think that Gemini won any of these battles, or was this a clean sweep? Let me know in the comments what you think. I hope you gained some value out of this video. If you're looking for more content like this, please subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.